What's up, guys? It's Lyle again with Adrenaline DFS coming at you with the live week one of the NFL season of 2020, the AKA the COVID year, AKA the worst year ever, AKA let's bink $1 million in week one. I'm gonna come like with a bunch of let's see like higher end picks. We'll go like mid tier picks and we'll go like lower end, and I got a couple sleepers at the end. Um, Basically breaking down the slate, kind of just nothing crazy, just letting you know where I stand or what I think's gonna happen, and we'll go over some Vegas totals real quick, like for the highest potentially scoring teams or the highest slated scoring teams. Um, yeah, so let's get right into it. So basically, I just like highlighted the top five highest scoring teams this week, which is San Francisco's actually leading, which is very weird to me. But San Francisco's supposed to be the highest scoring team. They're projected 27.75 at the moment. Well, I guess they're tied with Baltimore, same 27.75. Then Indianapolis, young Philip Rivers, he's got to be like 20 now or something. They're projected 26.5. Seattle's at 25.75, and then New Orleans at 25.5. So, I mean, those are some games that if you can, you're gonna want to target. Um, if you can. Uh, like I don't really know where to go in the San Francisco game because you never know what they're gonna do. Probably run it 600 times and then throw it 3 times to George Kittle. I don't know. But we'll start with quarterback. Um, Obviously on the high end, you have the reigning MVP Lamar Jackson at 8,100. Um, More to be said, he runs the ball like crazy. He throws pretty well. Got a couple guys he throws to mainly. Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown. Those are both going to be obvious. Well, one of them is going to be talked about later, but not bad to stack those guys. You could actually one off or just have Lamar Jackson by himself, just because of his running ability. But I tend to stack almost every quarterback I have, if not every quarterback I have. Um, and we have Russ as well. Going against Atlanta. Atlanta's notorious for just giving up tons of points. And Russ has DK Metcalf in his second year, who's looking like a complete stud right now. 7K is not too bad. 1,100 cheaper than Lamar Jackson, which is crazy, but makes sense. It should be a very favorable matchup for Russ, and it should be a shootout because Seattle's defense ain't not like it used to be. It should be a high-scoring game, which most of the games I think this week will be because of lack of, training camp and not really training camp, I guess, but preseason, all that goodness. Let's see. We'll go down a little farther here. Go mid-range. I actually really like Carson Wentz this week, but I just don't like Carson Wentz as a player. I think he's overrated, but again, who the hell does Washington have? Name some starters, please. Carson Wentz, I think if you could stack him with Deshaun Jackson this week, or maybe Ertz or Goddard, however you feel about those guys, I think he might be in the optimal lineup, which means the first, like the highest scoring lineup. Um, Definitely a possibility. Or who knows? They're just gonna run the ball 50 times. Not sure. But I like Carson Wentz. First, what is he? 6,300. Not bad at all. And a sneaky one to me, who's I think is getting overlooked, is Philip Rivers at only 6K. He's in this range where we don't know what the hell we're getting out of these guys this year. Um, Obviously Aaron Rodgers is a stud, but he's playing Minnesota. Stafford's good, but he's playing Chicago. There's like good spots, but I think Philip Rivers is gonna get overlooked a lot. If you can somehow stack him and you get T.Y. Hilton, maybe Marlon Mack if you want to go that route for the 3-man stack, or Jack Doyle. I mean, Jack Doyle is gonna produce this year. You know how Philip Rivers throws it to his tight ends from dating back to Antonio Gates days. Um, I think he's going to be very sneaky play. Go down a little lower. All right, probably the first person that so like on right when the first schedule came out, I go in and make a lineup to see where I'm at by the end of the year or end of the week. And this week, the first person I locked in was Tyrod Taylor against Cincinnati. Cincinnati has nobody on defense. They're gonna get torched probably all year long. I like Tyrod Taylor, stacking him with Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, Hunter Henry, whatever route you want to go with those guys. I really like Tyrod at 5,600, and this one pains me to say, very painful, but I like Mitch Trubisky. Said no person ever against Detroit. Mitch has put up, I think it's 9 touchdowns and 1 pick against the Lions in the last 3 meetings. Um, he's gonna throw to Allen Robinson a ton. You can get a little Tariq Cohen action if you want, with that stack, but he's notorious for torching the Lions, which is very embarrassing as a fan of the Lions. Let's see. So that's basically my quarterback kind of breakthrough. I'm gonna have mostly shares of everybody because I play a lot of lineups, but them will be some of my main ones. All right, with running back, this there's only one person in the top tier because look at this drop off. Christian McCaffrey. There's nothing more to be said really. Look at his game logs and it's just Jesus, it's ridiculous. This one's 9 attempts, but he still drops 22. Look at these numbers: 22, 35, 37, 34, 33, 40, 50. The kid just produces. It's gonna be a bunch of the same. Um, he's gonna get a ton of points doing the same stuff, catching, running. Now what I worry about with him is just his salary, because 10K you have to go real low with a couple players, and they're honestly this slate is pretty solid as far as pricing for DraftKings. Like they didn't really give us much wiggle room for anything. Um, it's kind of tough, but I mean if you're going here, you got to go low somewhere else, pretty low. But I like I like McCaffrey, of course, like so does everybody else. Um, so kind of the mid range is going to be more here now because of Jesus up there. Um, Austin Eckler I like a lot against Cincinnati. Should get a ton of catches. I'm probably he's probably going to get like 7 catches, probably a touchdown on the ground and in the air. I think I project him one of the highest running backs this week, maybe behind Christian, but price wise, they're going to be relatively close to each other because of the price for me. I like Joe Mixon a lot as well, and the flip side of that game, because of he's going to need to help Joe Burrow. Like it's just going to be like he's going to get the ball a lot probably to, you know, set up play action with Joe. Joe's a rookie. Try to get the feel of the game, all that goodness. And one that's on a lot of people's boards is Miles Sanders. He's kind of scaring me. He's kind of got, he's always been banged up, and of course, he's hurt again. But I like him a lot against Washington, which we mentioned earlier. Like Washington has nobody. They're gonna be very bad this year. And if they're not, it'll be crazy. Going down towards the lower end of the spectrum. So remember, I said you gotta go real low with a player. Um, Most of the lineups are gonna be correlated like this. You're gonna get this guy, and then if you know what you're doing, or if you're a pro, this is what they're gonna do for the most part. Is lock in Gibson. Antonio Gibson, he's slated number 2 on the depth chart, but they're super high on him. He catches the ball, runs the ball well. Um, that's who basically they're going to be going with if they're taking Christian. This is going to probably be the most correlated stack, and well, I'll show you in a minute, but that'll probably be like the most stacked duo in the other than maybe like a quarterback and a receiver from the same team. Um, let's see. So, which I might get away from him this week. It's gonna be really hard, but it's gonna be super high owned for not knowing exactly what he's doing. But he's there at 4K. Um, Another one that we have here should be fun for me is where's he at? Where you at, boy? Where you at, brother? Three Cohen against the Lions. It's just he's cheap, not too crazy cheap, but um, if it becomes where somehow Lions get a decent lead, Cohen's gonna be coming out backfield. He lines up as a receiver. Has sometimes like he's all over the place. 4,900 with his blow like just potential. I think it's a pretty good price for him. What else we got? Another one I'm kind of like low key on, right? Like this guy here, right? Kareem Hunt. He just signed a 2-year, $15 million deal. Was it? Or 13 million right here. Um, I actually think he's gonna take a lot away from Chubb this year. In this game, I think it's gonna be fast pace. I expect Baltimore to be up quite a bit for a while, and they're not gonna throw the ball to Nick Chubb. So I think Kareem Hunt's gonna get a lot of catches this year, especially in this game. So I like him at 40 or what is he at? 5,100. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. That's basically my little bit of running back stuffage. We go to a wide receiver. I feel like I'm targeting every top name, but I mean, what do you do when you got Matt McCaffrey, Lamar Jackson, Mike Thomas? Mike Thomas, not much to be said. He's going to get 10 targets, 11 targets. He's going to catch probably 10 of the 11. Probably 114 yards, 15 yards, maybe 150. You never know. Maybe 200. Touchdown or two. You know, Big Mike. He does his thing. Um, he's going to go off most likely. He's obviously the highest salaried receiver for a reason. Um, there's not much to be said about Mike. He's got Drew Brees throwing him the ball, and his Twitter handle is can't guard Mike, so it's basically accurate. And from him to this guy, don't really like these guys. Not a fan of these guys, but Devontae Adams is a stud, best route, one of the best route runners in the league, if not the best. He's gonna get a ton of targets again. Obviously, he does all the time. Targets 11, 11, 13, 16, 13. Like it's just double digits, double digits. Like it's a thing with the Packers. He gets his targets and he's really good, and he's got one of the best throwers in the game throwing him the ball. So I really like Devontae Adams this week as well. Where we at here? Oh yeah, one of my favorite players, and probably going to be one of the best players after this year, I think, is going to be DK Metcalf. I think 5,800 versus Atlanta should be a high scoring game. I already talked about Russ earlier. I would stack him with Russ just to get, the double points. I think DK Metcalf's going to have a hell of a year if he can stay healthy. I think he had the most end zone targets last year, or red zone targets, which is a big deal. He has his misses, like these 9.9s, stuff like that. But this is a rookie year. I mean, what do you expect? But I think he's gonna have a monster year this year. Probably lead the league in touchdowns. And then Scary Terry, F1 McLaurin, whatever you want to call him. This game should be brutal for Washington. I think Dwayne Haskins is a terrible quarterback. But I mean, they're gonna complete passes at some point, and Terry just gets tons of targets, and I think he's gonna have a good game against Philly just because of like garbage time and just they're trying to catch up, so it's gonna be a lot of throws from Haskins. Philly should win this handily, so we'll see how that goes. But I think game script, I'm predicting Philly being up, 24 to 6, 24 to 3 at halftime. then they're Washington's in throw mode the rest of the game, and he'll just continue, just get chunks here and there, catches, a bunch of catches. Um, Down here a little lower, I like Henry Ruggs. They just don't really have any pass catchers here. Um, he's a rookie starting number 1 receiver. He's got Derek Carr, inconsistent, but he can throw the ball. Um, there's just opportunity there. There's just nobody else there. Also with him, probably the third highest owned player behind these two is probably going to be Deshaun Jackson against Philly. We all know Deshaun Jackson's week ones are crazy. Normally, this is what it looks like. Week 1 versus who? Versus Washington. 32-27, 8 receptions, 9 targets, 154, 2 touchdowns, 38.4 points. Yeah, please. I'll take this all day. Deshaun just gets off in the week ones normally. He crushes the slate sometimes. Like he's the type of player to just blow open the slate. If you don't have him, then you're gonna be sad. But he's the number 1 there. Alshon Jeffrey's hurt. I actually just found out that Jalen Rager's actually gonna play, which is kind of cool. If you know anything about college football, Jalen Rager from TCU, he's looks like he's gonna be a solid pro, but we'll see how that goes. Um, but yeah, I like Deshaun a lot. So does everybody else that does this though. Let's go to tight end real quick. Pretty cut and dry. I think you got Kittle and Andrews. I mean, Lamar's got to throw it to somebody. You know, he doesn't have the most talented pass catchers in the league, but he loves Andrews and he loves Marquise Brown. But I think Andrews will benefit more. Um, and then George Kittle's George Kittle. Second best tight end in the league to me. Um, he should go off against Arizona, who has nobody. Well, I mean, they have players. Don't get me wrong; they're actually a very talented team, if not the most talented team in the NFL. But they're they're gonna struggle, I think, against San Francisco because of their running game and then their play action passing, and then George Kittle just torching them down the middle of the field. Um, oh yeah, my favorite play. So remember, I told you I'd do those lineups in the beginning of the week when I see the slate come out. This was the guy I put in at tight end. Hayden Hurst. He's been behind. Jeez, I don't like his picture. Yeah, we got to get rid of that. Um, he was behind Andrews and Boyle kind of in Baltimore. We all know how Matt Ryan basically made. No offense to Austin Hooper, but he made Austin Hooper look really good last year. I think he's gonna do the same to Hayden Hurst. This should be a good. Hayden Hurst was a high draft pick. I believe it was South Carolina. A few years back, and they just never got to utilize him. I think Matt Ryan will definitely give him his fair share of targets and everything. And then this old son of a gun here, Mr. Retiree, Gronk. If if things go well, if he's healthy, Brady's gonna give him the ball a bunch of times because they know each other. They've had a few. They went through a few rodeos together. They played a few games with one another. So yeah, I think Gronk has potential at 4,900 to do great things. I don't expect him to blow the slate up and have a 50-point game or anything, but I think he could be fine. Where else we got down here? The sleepers, not really sleepers, but so Ian Thomas is starting tight end for Carolina. Teddy Bridgewater is the quarterback. I think he's just got opportunity. At 3,400, he's the starting tight end. All he needs is, a touchdown and 4 catches, 3 catches, and he's fine at that price. Um, it's hard to find people cheaper than this. You can do Herndon, but I never play tight ends against Buffalo because Buffalo don't play that. So I like Ian Thomas, and I also like, where is he at? Right here, Logan Thomas. Again, I think it's going to be a blowout in the first half. Logan Thomas, former Detroit Lion, former quarterback, I believe, for Virginia Tech. Weird. But I like him against Philly just because of opportunity slash they're going to be playing catch up. It's going to be a lot of pass catching, a lot of throws in the second half most likely. um, yeah, that basically how that goes for me there. I'll be probably getting not much more exposure to any other tight ends but those guys. Um, this is pretty cut and dry. Defense is defense. You get a pick six and you're breaking the slate basically with defenses nowadays. My favorite defense I think though is the Colts against Jacksonville. Um, I kind of like Detroit, but then again, like I said, Mitch roasts Detroit. But for the price tag, like these guys are way down here. You could always just go weird and you could take Tampa Bay. They got tons of talent. They're just going against Drew Brees, who actually looked pretty subpar last year, so it's not a terrible play. Um, jump on this Cardinals, San Francisco, even though San Francisco is the highest total on the slate. But yeah, defense, jump wherever you want, wherever you can fit. Obviously, these guys are the better options up here. I wouldn't say the 49ers too much. Um, but yeah, Patriots versus Miami. You could go Miami versus the Patriots too. They're pretty low down here. Yeah, 2K. Like Cam Newton, we don't know what he's gonna be yet, but I mean, I think Miami could definitely make some noise on defense in that game. Never know though. So yeah, my favorite Colts, Lions. Um, so sleepers, I got a couple that I've kind of mentioned. I mentioned two of them already. One is Jalen Rager, who's been on the injury report. All they didn't think he was gonna play. He's a rookie, the TCU guy. Playing on Philly. You can stack him alongside with some of the Washington players. As a game stack. I think he's not a bad price. It's 4,300. Should be the number two receiver there. Another one who is a rookie, Brian Edwards. He's starting alongside of Henry Ruggs. Um, and then they got Hunter Renfro in the slot, but I mean, he's just opportunity. He's bare. I think he's 4,200, almost bare minimum salary. Um, so he should be fine in that offense. They're probably gonna need to throw the ball a little bit, unless Josh Jacobs is playing really well. But I like Brian Edwards. I think he's a bigger receiver. I believe. I think he's tall. It doesn't tell. There's stuff here, but pretty sure he's a bigger receiver too. So that could, reap some end zone targets. Um, running back. I think this guy's gonna get overlooked a ton, just because of like people are gonna go from down up there to like down to like Antonio Gibson and whatnot. But I'm kind of feeling this guy. Devin Singletary. They do have Zach Moss. Um, but I kind of like him at the price. He could be a little sneaky play here. Could find the end zone a couple times against the Jets, who are the Jets, and not like Rex Ryan Jets where they have stud defense, but they run the ball a lot in Buffalo. I think he could be a sneaky play. Not really a sleeper, but but a sneaky play. And then I mentioned this guy kind of a lot today. Ugh, I don't even want to say this, but Dwayne Haskins. Um, Garbage time works. Um, you get points for everything. It's like he could run the ball a little bit. He's gonna be playing from behind. Game script wise, you stack him with McLaurin or Logan Thomas. You can stack him with Antonio Gibson. I think he'll be a little higher on than we'd like, but I mean they're gonna lose, and they're probably gonna be playing from 2 touchdowns down most of the game. So it's gonna be just him throwing the ball a ton, probably 30 times. Can throw some picks there, but as long as he gets the yards and some touchdowns, you're chilling. But I like him as one of my sleepers as well that hopefully gets overlooked a little bit because I will have a little bit of him, but reluctantly. But yeah, that basically concludes it all. I appreciate you hanging out. It's been fun. Also, if you haven't yet, go to my YouTube and follow. Well, you're kind of on YouTube right now, but just drop a follow. A like on the video would be awesome. I appreciate it. Next week, I believe we'll have a guest with us speaking. I should have a camera by next week. Again, I just didn't have time to hook it all up and everything today. But thank you. Take care of yourself and others. And we're out. Peace and love, baby.